In the brutal and poetic world of boxing, where warriors rise and fall, where every step forward is earned in blood and willpower, few figures have emerged with the chilling certainty of Naoya Inoue. He is not merely a name, he is a phenomenon. Nicknamed the Monster, Inoue is not built from the same cloth as most fighters. He does not swagger, nor does he seek adoration through theatrics or viral interviews. Instead, he lets his fists do the talking, and the language they speak is merciless, beautiful violence. Every time he steps into the ring, the air shifts, the lights seem sharper, and opponents, regardless of their stature or confidence, begin to wilt under the weight of the inevitable. Inoue is not a storm that comes crashing in without warning. He is the quiet, focused build-up that precedes the hurricane. He studies. He waits. He dissects every opponent with a clinical eye, watching for the smallest error, the briefest lapse in focus. And when that moment comes, he strikes with the type of precision that can end years of preparation in seconds. His fights don't just end with knockouts, they conclude with lessons, painful, irreversible ones. For Inoue, boxing is not just a competition. It is a form of expression. Each jab, each body shot, and each uppercut is a brushstroke. The canvas is the ring. And the masterpiece is usually finished before the final bell ever sounds. From the outset of his professional journey, Inoue made it clear that he was an anomaly. Most fighters ease into the pro ranks, facing a succession of safe opponents, fighters who are either past their prime or were never real contenders to begin with. But Inoue didn't take that path. He refused the customary apprenticeship. His debut wasn't a warm-up, it was a warning. He didn't step into the ring to shake off nerves or simply notch a win. He stepped in with a reigning national champion, a man with real credentials, and dismantled him with ruthless ease. The performance wasn't just impressive, it was historic. It spoke of a talent so refined, so dangerous, that it didn't require time to blossom. It was already there, fully formed, demanding recognition. By his second professional bout, Inoue had already faced and demolished a respected Thai champion. Fighters at that stage are usually still figuring out how to pace themselves through 4 rounds. Inoue, instead, was testing the boundaries of destruction. He wasn't just defeating opponents, he was humiliating them, exposing them. There was an eerie calmness in how he moved, how he baited, and how he delivered combinations that left experienced fighters questioning whether they belonged in the same ring. His third fight, against Japanese title contender Yuki Sano, should have been a serious test. Sano was no journeyman. He had grit, experience, and enough technical ability to cause real problems for a young fighter still establishing himself. And yet, what unfolded in that fight was something far more telling. Inoue controlled the action from the opening seconds. He punished Sano with vicious right hands and dug deep to the body with surgical accuracy. It wasn't wild aggression, it was controlled demolition. But then something remarkable happened. Midway through the fight, Inoue injured his right hand, rendering one of his most potent weapons useless. Most fighters would have faltered. But not Inoue. Instead of panicking, he adapted. He shifted his entire offense to the left hand, throwing crisp jabs, hooks, and uppercuts, all with unnerving composure. Didn't just survive, he thrived. And by the 10th round, he sensed the end. With his injured hand essentially out of the equation, he used his remaining tools to unleash a final burst of combinations that forced the referee to step in. The stoppage wasn't just justified, it was merciful. Sano had endured enough. The message was clear: even wounded, Inoue was a different kind of threat. His adaptability, his intelligence under fire, and his commitment to controlling every second of the fight made him more than a rising star. He was beginning to look like something rarer, a generational talent. As he continued to progress, It became increasingly apparent that Inoue's left hook was evolving into one of the most feared weapons in boxing. By 2014, it had developed into a punch that was both surgically fast and alarmingly powerful. His fights weren't just showcases of offense, they were controlled experiments in pain. Against Warlito Parinas, a seasoned fighter with plenty of heart, Inoue didn't hesitate. From the opening bell, his punches landed with sickening clarity, sharp, destructive, and unrelenting. Parinas tried to fight back, throwing punches with defiance and hope. But every time he attempted to engage, he was met with combinations that drained the fight from him. Inoue's attack wasn't random. It was a symphony of violence, liver shots that bent Parinas in half, rib-cracking hooks that echoed through the arena, and jabs that didn't just score points but disoriented and debilitated. Parinas didn't give up. His body did. As the rounds wore on, he began to fold, not from a single punch, but from the accumulated trauma of Inoue's methodical work. At one point, Parinas dipped into a crouch, not out of strategy, but as if subconsciously begging for a moment of relief. But Inoue does not grant relief. He closed the distance, pushed his opponent into the ropes, and unleashed the final barrage that forced the referee to intervene. Then came Kohei Kono, a fighter with championship pedigree and an iron reputation. He was known for his heart, for his refusal to break under pressure. If anyone could test Inoue, it would be Kono. From the start, Kono tried to impose his will. He came forward with aggression, winging hooks and applying pressure. It was the kind of strategy that had worked for him in the past. But Inoue was unmoved. He remained composed in the pocket, slipping shots and countering with merciless precision. His body work, as always, was devastating. He targeted Kono's midsection with shots that drew visible reactions, grimaces, stumbles, loss of rhythm. And yet Kono, brave and determined, kept walking forward. He wore his courage like armor, but against Inoue, courage alone was not enough. The punishment continued. Round after round, Inoue dismantled Kono with discipline and cruelty. The ring transformed into a crucible, and Kono's body bore the toll, his face swollen, his breathing labored, his punches slower. By the middle rounds, the once formidable champion had been reduced to a battered figure surviving on pride alone. When Inoue landed the final series of punches, fast and accurate as always, the referee jumped in. The fight was over. Inoue hadn't just won, he had erased the line between experience and youth, between champion and predator. But perhaps no fight better encapsulates the essence of Inoue's dominance than his clash with Karun Jarupianlard. Karun came in with a reputation for resilience, a granite chin, a relentless will. Fighters like him don't get knocked out. They wear down opponents through sheer refusal to surrender. And early in the fight, it looked like Karun might pose a challenge. He stood his ground, exchanged blows, and tried to bully Inoue into discomfort. But Inoue wasn't there to be bullied. He welcomed the exchanges, adjusted his angles, and began to carve into Karun's defenses with chilling precision. His jab was a needle, piercing through Karun's guard, setting up more brutal shots to the body and head. The pattern was familiar: early resistance, gradual erosion, sudden collapse. By the later rounds, Karun was absorbing damage that would have stopped lesser fighters multiple times over. He staggered, he held, and he tried to cover up. But Inoue kept finding the openings, kept punishing him. In the 10th round, Inoue uncorked a right hand so precise and violent that it seemed to detonate on Karun's temple. The Thai warrior dropped hard, his body limp, his mind lost in a fog. The referee counted, but the fight was already done. Inoue had once again turned a tough, unbreakable man into a silent casualty. Then came a night that would change Inoue's career forever, a moment that would elevate him from feared champion to undisputed ruler. The opponent was Paul Butler, the reigning WBO bantamweight title holder. The stakes were monumental. This was more than a belt defense. This was about unification. This was about legacy. Taking place in Tokyo, under the rapturous gaze of a home crowd that already revered Inoue, the fight had all the makings of a coronation. Butler entered with poise and pedigree. But what awaited him was not a boxing match. It was a masterclass in psychological and physical disintegration. From the opening bell, Inoue stalked him with an eerie patience. Butler, sensing the danger, chose retreat. He moved, circled, covered up, and threw just enough to avoid complete submission, but never enough to win. It was survival mode. But surviving against Inoue comes with its own costs. He is relentless, not just with fists, but with presence. He cuts the ring, he feints, he teases, and he mocks. At one point, he began to showboat, mimicking legends like Ali and Roy Jones Jr., dancing, taunting, throwing no-look jabs, not out of arrogance, but to unnerve. He was breaking Butler mentally, proving that he could do whatever he wanted, whenever he wanted. And yet, Butler hung on until the 11th. That round began like all the others, with Inoue pressing and Butler retreating. But this time, the monster was done waiting. He shifted into another gear, unleashing a flurry that started with a clean right and ended with a torrent of blows. Butler went down hard. The referee didn't bother with a long count. The era of doubt was over. Inoue stood alone atop the bantamweight division, undisputed, undeniable. What separates Inoue is not just his physical gifts, though they are immense. It is the cerebral violence he employs, the way he reduces experienced fighters to desperate survivors. He adapts. He evolves mid-fight. He dissects. He studies every movement, every habit. He doesn't just beat opponents. He rewrites their perception of what's possible in a boxing ring. Many fighters build careers off toughness or speed or technique. Inoue is all of these, and something more. He is a force of nature wearing human skin. From his early days facing champions in his first few fights to his reign of terror across the bantamweight division, Inoue's journey has been one of escalating brilliance. He has never coasted. He has never avoided danger. Every challenge, every risk, and every new belt has been met with the same unwavering ambition, total domination. And now, with weight classes above still beckoning, with new divisions to conquer and new names to silence, the question is no longer how good Naoya Inoue is. The question is how far his dominance will stretch. Boxing is a sport where even the brightest stars can fade. But Inoue's light burns hotter with every fight, every round, every knockout. He is still young, still hungry, still sharpening the tools that have already dismantled a generation of challengers. What's terrifying is not what he's done. It's what remains ahead. For those who step into the ring with him, there are no safe rounds, no off moments, and no breathing room. Only the growing realization that the monster is real, and he's only getting stronger.